Hello, welcome to this week's weekly forecast. Going to kick off with the dollar. Last week we were looking for a break above this support, so see a clear line of support there. But last week was very choppy. If we look at the individual days, we just really went in this consolidation until Thursday, and then we got a retest on Friday. But it was very late on Friday, so it wasn't great trading conditions last week. So I am bullish the dollar again. Holding FX positions at the moment is kind of tricky, so general bias is going to be bullish on the dollar, and I'm just going to be going down into day trades really on the instruments. So starting off with, we'll start off with the Aussie dollar, and we'll take a look at just some support and resistance. We have resistance going through here, support, support, support. This is on the daily time frame. We've come up and had that rejection and started to move to the downside on Thursday and Friday. Let's go down into the hourly just to take a look at structure quickly. So this is the structure I'm looking at. I've just had to readjust my levels just to fit with what price is actually telling me. So we have support here, and support here. If we can break below here and retest from the other side, I will be looking for trading opportunities to the downside in that. So it's quite simple, just higher time frame resistance, and then look for structure and look for more room to the downside on that. Let's go to Eurusd. Let's go out to the daily chart. Quite a tricky week on Eurusd. We came up, swept these highs and rejected it to the downside. We've also closed below this resistance here, which will probably be key, but I'm also watching this sort of trend line, this support. So if we can get a daily close below there, then I think that will open up the opportunities to the downside in Eurusd. We didn't quite come into this structure of support, but I think there's no point really going down into the lower time frames. That's the daily structure. If we can get a daily close below that, then we can have another look. So ideally, if we get Monday's daily close below the structure, and then look to use Monday's levels to get involved to the downside. Let's take a look at pound. Another tricky week. As you can see by the price action, didn't really go anywhere, but I want to go down into the H4 time frame and just dig a little closer into the support resistance that I'm looking at. So you can see what's holding up the market. If I'm bearish, you can see resistance here and loads of support. So I'll be waiting for at least a H4 close below there before looking any instruments. You can see we've come up, swept highs, and it's all about breaking structure now before we can look again to the downside. Who knows, we might just chop for a while on here, but I will have these H4 levels on my chart so that if we do break them, then we can be on hand to trade this instrument. Let's take a look at Kiwi. Let's go back out to the daily time frame, and we did come into some nice resistance. So we have support, 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 resistance, and obviously very similar to Aussie, we have this structure that I'll go down into the hourly time frame to get a better look at. So let's take this off and tidy this line up. So what's holding up the market? We have, just widen this a little bit, just take in more touches, support, support, and support. Break below here would be ideal to look for lower prices. So that could be an hourly close, but we'll probably wait to see what Monday does. Don't really know how the markets will react. Quite a lot of news coming out regarding Russia and Ukraine. So I'm going to have a look at dollar yen pair. Dollar yen. I'm going to save the yen instruments for another video. I don't really want to make this video too long, and if my thinking is that this maybe gets sorted out, I think a lot of money will maybe pour into the yen. As you can see, let's just go to the daily time frame here. With the news coming out, people may put their money into the into yen, but I'm still bullish the dollar, and I think if tensions ease, this could be a nice play to the upside on dollar yen. But I will be keeping an eye on news. If I do trade, this would be probably very small size, but something to keep an eye on. Daily time frame, we have resistance here, we got that close and retest on Friday, so possibility for one more leg up, take out these highs. That's what I'm looking for, and hopefully things start to ease over Russia and Ukraine. Very similar with dollar Swiss. I'm not really too interested in it. As you can see, the price action is not very tradable for me, and we're stuck between this resistance here and we have support down here, so we're stuck between two levels, and I don't want to spend too much time on this instrument as it doesn't really appeal to me. Dollar CAD, very sort of similar. I would be inclined to be bullish, just because I am bullish on the dollar, and with 4 rate hikes coming, I think that the dollar strength play is probably the best on the table at the moment. But as you can see, price action very choppy. We did come down. If I can go down into the hourly, something I talked about in the last video, come down and swept these lows, and we did get a huge reaction. We broke structure, came back, and it looks like we could see these highs going, so something to keep an eye on. Favorite pairs are probably Aussie dollar and Kiwi to the downside, but I will keep an eye on other instruments just in case, you know, they're a little bit cleaner technically. So that's really it. Don't want to look at too many instruments, mostly dollar based pairs. Well, I say all dollar based pairs. I will look at yen instruments if we do see a sort of surge money going into the yen strengthening. Then there will be a few plays that I'll be looking at, which will probably be, you know, Aussie yen. If I'm looking for Aussie dollar to go down and Kiwi dollar to go down and Aussie yen, New Zealand yen, CAD yen, etc. So I'm going to save that for another video. I will have an update for you on Wednesday, but hopefully this week's trading is a little bit more manageable than last week. It was very choppy last week and very frustrating, but yeah, we have our levels in place, we have our ideas going forward. Now we'll just have to react to what price action is telling us and get ourselves into the best positions possible. So wishing you all the best for the week ahead, and I'll have an update for you on Wednesday.